Right, the day has come. We are now loading up the Camry. All right, here, cameraman. We're gonna load this up. We had to get cameraman to help push up.
Yeah.
But there it is.
Good thing I was just riding by and having to see you guys need some help.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thanks. Alrighty, Camry is ready to go. Down we go. All right, Camry has made it here safely. We are gonna start the transplant.
You gotta be over there to lift it.
All right, engine is out. Sir, what did we find as a surprise?
A window and a backwards rod.
So we were pulling it out, and then all of a sudden a ton of motor oil started leaking out. We have two windows. One, two.
Oh, there two?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that little guy. It's a very round window, that lower one.
It is.
It's almost like a plug.
Yep, just daily drive your broken car. It's all good. Rod number 4 had left the chat. There's a rod bearing. All right, so here is the engine, 5S FE. I'm going to start to do the reassembly. So it's pretty straightforward. I know this car is originally a 3S FE, and now it's going to be the 5S FE. Pretty much you're just going to use your block, head, camshafts, all from the 5S, and then you grab all your 3S parts and swap them on over. We've got a nice new oil pump, so we're going to go ahead and just start putting all the parts on. Alyssa wanted it painted in a nice Ford blue, so there we go. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just start assembling everything back together. I will mention right here, I got a little spooked because the gasket right there, but this goes to nothing. So all the holes line up, all the ports are not obstructed, so we're good. Also, the little touches that count. See, I'm going to ditch this generic engine oil knob in favor for this one, you know. Just looks a lot better, tells you the correct oil type. I will clean it up and get that nasty sludge out of it. But yeah. So, on the intake manifold here, if you can see, it's got a nice little bump. So what we're going to do is have the bumps face right there towards the intake. There is no instruction on which way it goes in the factory service manual, but I read on the forums and most people choose to stick it out this way. I guess when you clamp it down, the intake manifold's going to crush it anyways. So I'll do as most people do and just put the bump facing towards the intake. So if you have any questions on which way to do it, just do it this way. SFE dipstick tube removal. We're going to start with some heat. Careful, it's hot. I felt that hot grease land on me. Yeah. So we've got the clutch, the flywheel, almost all of the accessories on the engine. Working at night, unfortunately, but that's just the way it goes. We had an issue with the dipstick tube. Yep, it's a press fit. Luckily, when we swapped it out, it was giving us a problem with moving. It still is moving a little bit, but not that bad. I did put some JB weld in there, so hopefully it'll hold it, but it is what it is. So if not, I may just weld a bracket and just weld it to that. I don't know. We'll figure something out, but as of right now, the dipstick tube is in its correct spot, so we'll leave it right there. So if you're ever doing a clutch, sometimes you'll run into one that's unmarked. As you can see, it doesn't say flywheel side on either side of this clutch. take a look at the old clutch, and you can see it says right there, flywheel side. If you look at it, there's a fat side and a skinny side where the springs are. You're always going to want to have the skinny side go to the flywheel and the fat part to the pressure plate. If you do it wrong, the clutch won't disengage and you just will have problems. So, remember, fat side goes to the pressure plate, skinny side goes to the flywheel. Let's get it all together. All right, guys, the 3S FE is ready to go in.
3S.
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 All right, and it goes. All right, time to go back in. Ew. Yep, and goes the 3S FE. All right, so we're just putting all this on. I kind of forgot how it went in, so I'm just gonna guess. Wish me luck. Yep. All right, guys, so our 85% gasket kit did not come with a throttle body gasket. And, well, when you got to do things, you got to do things. So we made one. We got cardboard, got cork, we've got a thicker cardboard. We opted to go with this one here. So first thing I did is I cut out a big square. And I laid it over that, about like that as a big square. And I took my little hammer and I tapped all the way around it. And when you do that, yep. I'm not doing a very good job, but see that arc that it made there? It makes a line all the way around it. So you get that going, and you come back, you cut it out, and you come back here, and what I did is I found a punch, which this one happens to be 5/16, that just fits in that hole pretty snug. So I took that, and I didn't want to just pound it through to make the holes, because I thought it might rip out our corners. So I just pressed on it a little bit for each hole, set it back here, gave them each a quick whack with the hammer, took my razor knife, cut them out. And the tricky part was the big hole in the center, getting that clean. So I cut a semicircle out of half of it, and I cut across to see what I was doing. And I started to make my way up the sides, and I got to here, and was worried it wasn't going to be clean, so I stopped. So I started coming around here, and I got to that and ran into the same thing. So I ended up grabbing the socket out of the drawer, found that it slipped in there real tight. So I took my semicircle, that piece, I laid that over half of it, gave it a quick whack, and then that traced out, actually it was this piece, traced out the rest of my circle, cut it out, and bam, throttle body gasket. It's not a beer box, but it works.
Paint will do that too.
All right, it's running. It's only 1:30 in the morning.
Only 1:30.
It sounds just like it did before, but when it ran good.
The whine seems funny to me.
I bet you it's the way we tension the timing belt.
Think so?
Yeah, it'll wear in. Well, we're gonna let her run. All right, clear coat, be gone.
Oh, come on.
What kind of pressure washer is this?
One that sat out in the rain.
Oh, is that bad for it? Oh, there it goes. Holy cow. Holy clear coat. All right, here we are at the gas station. Car is running great. First impressions, a lot more power. Filthy. The clear coat has failed, but it's all good. It's gonna go repaint. I'm gonna do a little rust repair on it too. See if it's got a little rust on that pillar. But yeah, overall, not bad at all. So we're gonna fill her up with some fuel. So as you can see here, here is the 5S FE, which it all looks like the 3S FE, because you use all the external stuff from the 3S onto the 5S. So when you go either get your new reman engine or a junkyard engine, as this one was, you reuse the or you use the block and head from the 5S, and then everything else from the 3S you will put on it. So the oil pan, the clutch, the distributor, intake, the exhaust manifold, the tire accessory drive. For the timing cover though, I did use the 5S timing cover, the valve cover from the 3S. So all those parts, you'll just pull them off of your 3S and then put it on the 5S. Now, if the 5S came out of a Toyota MR2, then you won't need to do the balance shaft delete on it. But if it did come out of a Camry, like this engine did, it came out of a 96 Camry, you will need to do the balance shaft delete, because the pan will be too big and it will hit the subframe and you'll have exhaust clearance issues. So it's pretty straightforward to do the balance shaft delete. So yeah, this 5S has been in here since December of 2023. We're now in June of 2023, or actually
July.
We're in the July 1st of 2024 now. Engine's been running really good. It's had 2 oil changes now gone through it. Doesn't burn a single drop of oil, doesn't leak, runs really good.
Let's check the oil.
It's hot right now.
Oh,
just
yeah.
leave it. But yeah, no, this Camry drives really good. And now the reason why we ended up going with this swap was because the 2.0 that was in it, it needed a timing belt. It would leak a lot of oil, and it would like to leak it all out. And a few times the engine ran completely out of oil. Eventually it caused some severe damage, and well, the bottom end exploded and it shot the piston out the block. It's no good. So between all of that, I was, I couldn't really find a good 2.0 at the junkyard. So I was like, well, what about the 2.2, the 5S motor? Can we use that? So I was luckily able to find a good one, took it apart, resealed it, did new rings, new bearings, had the machine shop just check the clearances of the cylinder walls and the pistons to see if we would have to bore it. They said, it should be okay. And yeah, it's good. It doesn't burn oil. Got the crank polished, got the head just decked and cleaned and made sure all the valves are sealing, which they did. And then put it all together, threw a new clutch in it, and here it is. It runs really good. So, but enough talking. Let's go ahead and go for a drive. And yeah. So you guys may ask, well, how much more power do you gain from the 5S swap? Well, the answer is not much. We're gonna do a little launch here. I mean, it kind of burns out, but it's not very fast. We're barely doing 35 miles an hour. Third gear does grind on this transmission. So yeah, it's not gonna be very fast. It's more of just kind of a parts availability standpoint. It does have a bit more low-end torque, but yeah, this swap is definitely not something that you will do if you're expecting to do any major horsepower gains, because it's just not going to happen. It's just more of an easy bolt-in swap that just works. And yes, it will pass California smog as long as all your smog equipment is intact. So the EGR, your catalytic converter, all your vacuum hoses, and everything's in proper working order and hooked up correctly. Yes, it will pass smog. So I don't know if you guys can tell in the camera, but these coilovers are a little stiff. So the bumps in the road, you just kind of go down the road and you're just hopping a little bit. I haven't messed with the dampening, so I'm not exactly sure where they are right now. But overall, it's not too bad. Just a decent ride. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say, oh, it rides amazing, because it kind of doesn't. One of the reasons why we ended up not taking this car on the road trip across the country was just because of that. Not because of reliability or space, because this car has plenty more space than my Civic SI, a huge trunk. But we just, that rough ride there, probably get old on a 33-hour drive just hopping along like this.
All right, so I definitely love my Camry. I love the seatbelts. I love the all-blue interior, but it's not perfect. There are some things I do want to get done to the Camry. One is tint. This car has no tint at all. I don't know if you guys can tell. 2, I want subs, and I need better speakers. I need tweeters, mids, and subs. So that's another project that I want to do to it. What else?
Well, when we go out of state, I definitely also don't mean to get interrupted, but check this out. Look at this old big rig. I don't know what year that is for, but that's a cool old auto car right there. You definitely don't see them like that all the time. Anyways, I like big rigs too. When we go out of state, though, we don't have to deal with California smog. Eventually, it'd be cool to put something with more power under the hood. So I don't know if maybe we do like a 3S GTE build. So as y'all saw, I wasn't exaggerating about the coilovers. It was pretty bumpy. So now we put the phone in an action mode, so hopefully it stabilizes the image. But anyways, back to it. There'll be some power. So I don't know if we're gonna do like a 3S GTE swap. That would be cool, but with the stock ratios of the transmission, the gears are a little long, and I kind of want a more close ratio transmission. So I don't know if there is a Toyota transmission that's more close ratio that would work. But another good option would just be a K24 with a K20 head on it, and do a Honda drivetrain in it. I don't know if it's ever been done to this particular Camry, you know, this body style, but I know that they have done it to the MR2s. People do take out their 3S GTEs and do the K swap. So that would be cool to make this thing have a K series under the hood. You know, nice 250, 300 horsepower, nothing too crazy. So you're still able to drive it on the street pretty good. But yeah, that would be nice. Get a little bit of more horsepower under here, and brakes too. So again, I don't know if there's like a big brake kit from like a MR2 that we can put in the Camry. That would be neat, but you know, this is just stuff I haven't researched just because I don't really have the funds for it. But once the time gets there, it would definitely be cool to do those modifications to make the car faster. So yeah, since Alyssa wants to upgrade the cup holders, I'm not sure exactly what to do. I think we'll just drill a hole in the dash and stick the cup right there. What do you think?
Nope.
No.